The world you woke up to this morning no longer exists. For years, we've lived under the comforting illusion of the 60-second warning, that thin silver of time where the Iron Dome, David's sling, and the arrow systems would buy you a chance to breathe, to run, to survive. But as of the last 72 hours, that window has been slammed shut. We are now living in the era of the 0-second reality. On February 28, 2026, the Middle East didn't just escalate, it underwent a fundamental chemical change. The United States and Israel launched Operation Epic Fury, a campaign so violent and so precise that it has effectively erased the traditional rules of engagement. In the first 12 hours alone, 900 strikes rained down across Iran, targeting the very eyes of their defense network. But it's what happened next that should keep you awake at night. Iran didn't just retaliate. They unleashed a quantity-over-quality nightmare designed by Chinese strategic architects to achieve what was once thought impossible: the total saturation of the most advanced air defense system on Earth. We are seeing reports that the Iron Dome's interception rate, a system that once boasted a 95% success rate, has plummeted to a staggering 10% in certain sectors. Why? Because the saturation isn't just physical, it's digital. Leaked intelligence suggests the IRGC deployed a mesh network of jet drones that communicate in real time to sacrifice themselves, mapping out mobile launcher locations for the follow-up wave of Fatah 1 hypersonic missiles. These aren't just projectiles. They are Mach 15 ghosts that maneuver inside the atmosphere, rendering radar signatures useless. By the time the sirens wail, the impact has already occurred. And at the heart of this chaos lies the ultimate bridge burner: the confirmed decapitation of the Iranian leadership. The strike on Ali Khamenei's compound wasn't a warning. It was a funeral for diplomacy. The off-ramps are gone. The red lines have been turned into rivers of fire. We aren't just watching a war. We are watching the dismantling of an 80-year-old world order in real time. The ghost of the old regime has been replaced by something far more volatile. On March 8, 2026, the Assembly of Experts, convening under the literal shadow of incoming cruise missiles, shattered 40 years of revolutionary precedent. They didn't just choose a new leader, they established a dynasty. Mojtaba Khamenei, the shadowy second son of the assassinated Ayatollah, has emerged from the IRGC's intelligence corridors to claim the mantle of supreme leader. This isn't a transition. It's a war-footing coronation. While the West once speculated that a post-Khamenei Iran might seek a pragmatic path, Mojtaba's first act was to reject the U.S.-led ceasefire with a single, chilling sentence: "The blood of the martyr is the ink of our new map." This is the Shadow King taking the throne, a man forged in the IRGC's most radical factions, now holding the codes to a ballistic arsenal that has already proven it can touch the Mediterranean. But while the political architecture shifts, the physical landscape of the Middle East is literally melting. The strikes on the Tehran and Haifa refineries have created what meteorologists are calling a synoptic nightmare. We are seeing images of black snow, soot and unrefined hydrocarbons mixing with high-altitude moisture, falling over the streets of Tehran. This isn't just industrial damage. It's an act of ecocide designed to break the collective spirit of 10 million people. In the Shahran district, witnesses describe a literal river of fire as ruptured storage tanks spilled millions of gallons of burning crude into the city's transit arteries. This is the new face of total warfare, where the goal isn't just to destroy a military target, but to poison the very air the enemy breathes. The counter-narrative is already exploding across the global south. Accusations that the U.S. and Israel have crossed the line from strategic defense to a campaign of environmental terror. As the soot settles on the ruins of the Assembly of Experts in Qom, one thing is certain: the time for measured responses ended with the old Ayatollah. The new Iran isn't looking for a seat at the table, it's looking to burn the table down. While the sky over Tehran turns black, the global economy is suffering a literal cardiac arrest. As of March 10, 2026, the numbers coming off the ticker aren't just statistics. IV are a death warrant for the cost of living as we know it. Yesterday, Brent Crude didn't just rise, it teleported to a peak of $119.50 a barrel. That is the highest price point since the 2022 invasion of Ukraine, but the context today is far more lethal. We are witnessing a 90% collapse in maritime traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. This is the world's most vital jugular, and it has been severed. But look closer at the tracking data, because something unprecedented is happening in the water. We are seeing ghost ships, hundreds of tankers and container vessels appearing on GPS in impossible clusters, some reporting speeds of over 100 knots. This is high-level electronic jamming, a digital fog of war that has rendered the Persian Gulf impenetrable. Shipping companies are now so desperate they are instructing crews to broadcast all Chinese crew or Chinese owner on their AIS signals, hoping that Beijing's remaining ties to Tehran act as a suit of digital armor. But the crisis isn't just about fuel for your car, it's about the fuel for our very survival. 1/3 of the global fertilizer trade passes through that narrow 39-kilometer gap. We are at the peak of the global planting season, and the sudden evaporation of fertilizer supply is a ticking time bomb for the world's breadbaskets. When President Trump took to Truth Social to claim that the war is very complete and that prices will drop rapidly, the markets flinched, causing a temporary dip back toward the $98 mark. But don't be fooled by the volatility. The fundamental plumbing of the global economy is broken. Insurers have officially withdrawn war risk coverage for the entire region. Even if the missiles stop tomorrow, the risk premium is baked into every gallon of milk and every loaf of bread you buy for the next 6 months. Journalists on the ground are calling this the Great Decoupling. The moment the West realized that its entire prosperity was built on a foundation of sand and cheap Middle Eastern energy that can be deleted with a single $20,000 drone. As the smoke clears over the burning refineries, a terrifying question is beginning to circulate in the deepest corridors of the Pentagon. Did we walk into a trap? This is the honeypot theory, and the evidence is mounting with every passing hour. By drawing 2 American carrier strike groups, the USS Gerald R. Ford and the USS Abraham Lincoln, into the confined, shallow waters of the Persian Gulf, the United States may have handed Iran the perfect target. In these narrow choke points, the sheer technological superiority of a $13 billion aircraft carrier is neutralized by thousands of $20,000 suicide speedboats and shore-based ASCM batteries. Reports from March 10th indicate that U.S. Central Command has already lost 11 MQ-9 Reaper drones to a sophisticated new Iranian air defense layer we didn't even know existed. This isn't a disorganized regime in retreat. This is a coordinated, multi-axis defense in depth that is purposefully luring Western assets into a kill box from which there is no easy retreat. But there is an even darker layer to this endgame, one that world leaders only discuss in whispers. It is called the Samson option. For Israel, this conflict has moved beyond a border skirmish or a regional rivalry. It is perceived as an existential finality. The Samson option is the unconfirmed but widely understood nuclear doctrine that if the state of Israel faces imminent destruction, it will bring down the pillars of the temple, taking its enemies, and perhaps the global order, with it. As Mojtaba Khamenei promises warheads of over 1 ton and the IRGC targets the heart of Tel Aviv, the threshold for this doomsday deterrent is being tested in real time. We are currently in a 72-hour window that will define the next century. Trump says the war is very complete, but the reality on the ground suggests we are only at the end of the beginning. If the Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Kuwait conclude that the American presence is a liability that invites Iranian missiles rather than a shield that prevents them, the foundation of the Carter Doctrine will collapse overnight. We are standing on the precipice of a world where the rules are written in fire, and by the time you watch our next update, the map of the Middle East may be unrecognizable. This isn't just a news cycle. It is the birth of a new, more dangerous reality,